Hello everyone, it's April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to crochet my Milky Way Blankie, which is a round blanket. The pattern includes 5 sizes and it's made to, or I should say it's inspired by a spiral galaxy. The center of the blanket begins with a spiral. So first we're going to need size K and I crochet hooks, or those are 6.5 and 5.5 millimeters respectively. We're going to need 2 locking stitch markers, preferably different colors. And then you're going to need in worsted weight or size 4, both white and a variegated blue, preferably like dark blues rather than light blues. And then also a sparkly yarn that is a DK or a worsted weight would work. So to begin with, we're going to use our larger hook, and we're going to start with our white worsted weight, and we're going to make a magic ring. So we'll lay the yarn across 2 fingers with the yarn end coming off the front and wrap it around once, then pull that off, place your hook through and hold that still. I'm going to tighten it up just a bit. Yarn over and pull through, and then chain 1, and that makes us ready to begin the first round. For the beginning of round 1, we're going to put 2 single crochets in our magic ring, then 2 half double crochet stitches, then 2 double crochet stitches, now we're going to take our hook out of that loop and use one of our stitch markers to put through that loop, and that's just to make sure that that doesn't come unraveled, because now we're going to take the end of our blue yarn and start working with that. So for this one, you will make a slip knot. And we're going to just go directly into the magic ring. We're not going to join to these white stitches. Directly into the magic ring, and we're going to single crochet twice, then 2 half double crochet, and then 2 double crochet stitches. Notice that all these stitches are being worked over 2 strands of yarn. That helps give some additional strength to the center of our magic ring to help keep it from coming undone. Okay, so now this is what I have. I'm going to pull the tail of my magic ring to tighten up the center. I don't want to pull it super hard. There may still be a tiny hole in the middle. That's okay. Okay, this finishes round 1. I'm not going to join at the end of the round. That's the end of round 1. To begin round 2, I'm going to continue with the blue, and I'm going to increase in each of these stitches. So the pattern says increase in the next stitch 6 times. That increase is 2 double crochet stitches in the same place. So I'm going to go into my very first stitch from round 1 and put 2 double crochet stitches there. After I work the first one, I'm going to use my other stitch marker to mark that spot, so I'll always know where the beginning of the next round is. Okay, so there's my 2 double crochet stitches. I'll repeat that in each of these white stitches. And then my stitches kind of gotten pulled out of shape, so I'll pull on that, and now I can see better where the top of it is. I just want to double check that I got all of those. That first increase is right here where my stitch marker is. That's the first two. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Perfect. Okay, so at this point you see that I have this loop of white where I left off at halfway through the first round. Well, now I'm halfway through the second round, and at this point I'm going to swap. I'm going to put my stitch marker in the blue loop to save it for later, and my crochet hook in the white loop. I'm going to work the second half of round 2 with white, but also I'll be doing an increase in each stitch. So my first stitch is over here. I'll put 2 double crochet stitches in that one and in each of the blue stitches until I get back to my beginning of round stitch marker. And that completes round 2. So I know this looks a little strange. This is not like our usual method of working in the round, but one really great thing about this spiral technique is that I don't have to do any of the normal color changes that we often see in crochet. I'm not going to have a seam anywhere that's going to show. I'm not going to have any jagged color changes, and I'm not going to have any floats on the back because of the way this spiral technique works. Okay, so to begin round 3, I'm going to take out my beginning of round stitch marker, and I am going to continue with the white and double crochet in this first stitch, and then I'll put my beginning of round stitch marker back in place in that first stitch, and then I'm going to increase in the next stitch, and I'll repeat that until I get to the end of the blue stitches here. So 1 double crochet, and then in the next stitch 2 double crochet. That's my increase. Now I'm halfway through the round, so it's time to swap colors. So I'll move my stitch marker to the white loop and my hook to the blue loop. I'm going to untangle here for a minute. Okay, and then I'll continue the same sequence of stitches though. So it's 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 2 single crochet in the next stitch. And I'll repeat that until I get back to my beginning of round marker. Now I have finished round 3, so I'm going to take out my stitch marker here and place my first double crochet stitch for round 4, and then I'll put my stitch marker in that new stitch to mark the beginning of the round. For round 4, we're going to continue in the blue, and we're going to do a double crochet stitch here, a double crochet stitch here, and then the increase here, so 2 double crochet stitches in this spot. And I will continue that sequence around, so it's going to be double crochet, increase. Now I am halfway through the round, so it's time to switch colors. We'll move our stitch marker to the blue loop and crochet hook to the white loop, and then we continue the same sequence of stitches. So double crochet and double crochet and increase here. And that brings me back to my beginning of round marker. So I have finished round 4. Now, every round after this continues in the same way. You're going to start the round with the same color that you have just been working with to finish the previous round. You're going to do, so here is my increase right here where you can see the 2 stitches coming out of the same stitch. So I will double crochet in each stitch until I get to the increase. Then in the first increase stitch, I'll do just 1 double crochet, and in the second increase stitch, that's where I'm going to put my increase, so 2 double crochet. So what's going to happen is each additional round is going to add 1 double crochet stitch before the increase. So we'll continue in white and work across all of the blue stitches, and then we'll swap colors, and then we'll do the second half of the round in the next color using the same sequence of stitches, and until we come back to the beginning of the round. So every round of the blanket follows that exact pattern, and the written instructions for this pattern are available on my website. I'll have the link for that in the description for this video. When I have finished the number of rounds specified in the pattern based on the size I'm doing, there is one final round just to finish up our blanket, just to kind of finish off the spiral. So the way that goes is this: you continue in the current color, you're going to half double crochet in each stitch to the next increase. So I'll be putting my half double crochet here. So half double crochet to the next increase. My increase is here. So then I will half double crochet in the first increase stitch, 2 half double crochet in the next increase stitch, and then I will single crochet to the next increase, and single crochet in the first increase stitch, 2 single crochet in the next one, and then I will slip stitch in just a couple of stitches here to finish off the spiral. Okay, so that finishes off the white. I'm going to go ahead and cut my white end. Now, of course, your blanket will be much bigger than this. This is just a little sample that I'm making to show you. Go ahead and take this out because I don't need it. And then I'm going to come to the blue and take that out, and I don't need it anymore. And I'm going to do that exact same thing. And then I'll cut the blue. Leave your ends nice and long when you cut, that way you have plenty to weave in, so we don't worry about it coming undone. Okay, so that finishes my little sample here. The next thing that we have to do is crochet the stars and attach them to the blanket. So I'm going to move that out of the way for the time being, and here's where I'm going to need my smaller crochet hook and my sparkly yarn. I don't know how well you can see the sparkles in this, but it has kind of a shimmering thread running through it. So for the stars, we are going to start again with a magic ring. And I'm going to put my hook through there and yarn over and chain 1. For round 1 of the star, I'm going to put 10 single crochet in this ring. Well, first I need to chain 1. Okay, 10 single crochet in the ring. And I'm crocheting over both strands of yarn, the tail and the ring. And that makes 10. So I'm going to close the center of my magic ring, but I'm not going to pull that really tight. So there's still going to be maybe a 1/4 inch hole in the center. That's just fine. That's how it's supposed to be. And then I'm going to slip stitch in the very first stitch to join the end of my first round. For round 2, I will chain 1, single crochet in this first stitch, chain 3, and then single crochet in the next stitch. And I'm going to repeat that 4 times. So single crochet in the next one, chain 3, single crochet in the next one. You're not skipping any stitches underneath those chain loops. Now, when you are finished with this round, you should have 5 chain loops, which I do. You might be tempted to think that this is a stitch to work into. It's not. It's the slip stitch from the end of round 1. And even this loop right here, this is the chain 1 that we did at the beginning of round 2. We're not stitching into that either. We're going to go into our first stitch of the round here and slip stitch to join. Now round 3 is where we're going to attach it to the blanket as we work. For round 3, I'm going to start with a chain 1, then I'm going to go into this first chain loop that I made. Single crochet there, half double crochet, double crochet, chain 1. Now is where I'm going to slip stitch it to the blanket. So you just decide where you want to put your star. There's not an exact placement unless maybe you're trying to replicate a constellation, but just decide where you want it. And then you're just going to go under a post of a stitch. You could go through the top of a stitch, just really any post or top of a stitch where you want to place it. And then you'll slip stitch. And then you'll chain 1 again and double crochet back in that chain space. And half double crochet. And single crochet. And that finishes the first point of the star, and it's anchored to the blanket. And then we're going to repeat that for each point of the star. So I'm going to skip these 2 stitches here and go right into the next chain space. Single, half double, double crochet, chain 1. Now to decide where to put this, you just want to set your star down for a minute. You want to, not have it pulled weird. You're just going to try to set the points kind of where they want to be and see about where the point of this star wants to lay down. And I kind of feel like it wants to go here. So I'm going to slip stitch around the post of that stitch, and then I'll chain 1 again, and then I'm back into the chain space with a double crochet. And half double and single. And then we're going to work the third point by going right into this chain space. Same sequence of stitches. And once you have finished the last point, then you'll go into the first stitch from the round to join. So let's see what we're looking at here. This is one of my single crochet from the last round, and this is, I believe, my slip stitch from the end of the last round. And that, let's see, the easiest way I think to find the stitch is to go to this double crochet stitch here and count backwards, 1, 2, and 3, so we don't accidentally slip stitch into the wrong thing. So then once we've done that, we'll cut off the end and fasten off. Okay, so that's now my star is attached to my blanket. And then you'll use a tapestry needle to weave in your ends, but the ends from the star, you're just going to want to pull those through the blanket really, like right under where they are. Just use your crochet hook or your tapestry needle and take those through to the back. This end right here is coming from the center of my star, so I'm going to come up underneath the center and over here, and I want to pull that through to the back. So all the ends to the back of the blanket, and that also helps secure your star down. And then you'll weave in all of your ends, and that will finish your blanket. Of course, again, yours will be much bigger than this, but I hope that this tutorial has given you the skills you need to be able to crochet the Milky Way Blankie. And again, you can find the link to the free written pattern in the description for this video, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.